it's shitty, we can just start over.
Yeah, we're still like we can have bad audio in this because I can just take it out.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, let's start. All right. Hello and welcome to the. Oh no!
It wasn't even that funny, but I just.
It's just funny the way you wound up to. You're like, okay, I'm gonna go in now.
Oh my!
Alright, just go for it. Just go for it.
Yeah, let's just keep going. Let's keep
Everyone
going.
just calm down.
Wait, we can keep this in.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, here. Do you want me to do it? I'll do it.
You got it.
Okay, hey everybody, it's the Comma Basketball Podcast, where we talk about basketball and I don't know other shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Kevin. My favorite team is the Celtics, and fuck Kyrie.
All right, I'm Ming. My favorite team is still undecided, but I'll say it's the Warriors.
Okay.
Yeah.
My name's Anthony. I'm a Spurs fan, and I see a lot of these top teams lists are sleeping on the Spurs right now, so I'm a little upset about that.
My name is Andrew. My favorite team is the Warriors, and I bet that the Spurs won't make the Western Conference Finals. I'm gonna win a free, easy $5 for them. So
Wait, I got an easy $5 coming too. The Lakers. I bet someone. I won't say who it is, but someone that the Lakers would make the playoffs in my favor.
All right, let's get back on track here.
Okay.
Let's get back on track.
I'll just
yeah,
say-
speaking of the playoffs, I think the first thing we're gonna talk about, it's the off season still. We still got a lot of things going on, but for the most part, all the big stars, a lot of them ended up in new places. So, I think it's good to talk about some of the top teams that we have going into next season. So.
I'll bring up an obvious one. I think the Clippers are number one for sure.
Yeah, they're number one on my list too.
Number one? Does everyone agree with that?
No, I don't.
You don't agree
Really?
with that?
I think the 76ers are number one.
76ers?
Okay,
Yeah.
well they're number 2 on my list.
Okay, wait, we should talk about that. Why do you pick 76ers over Clippers?
I just think Josh Richardson is like a perfect fit because he's not ball dominant. He does like all the dirty work, and he's knocked down. So, and they got Al Horford somehow. So, the combination of like losing Jimmy Butler is like completely negated by just getting like 2 like really good players that fit their role perfectly. So I think they'll be like beast, even though Ben Simmons sucks.
Yeah, what do you that's exactly what I was gonna say. What do you
Yeah.
think about like the Ben Simmons problem?
Yeah,
Kinda
he's
like,
still a problem.
yeah, he's really good in the regular season, but in the playoffs, like his lack of shooting is like pretty huge.
I think it is a problem, and I don't know. All the reports are like, "Oh, Ben Simmons been working on a shot all summer," and I don't completely agree with. Like, I don't believe it. But Tobias Harris keeps saying he's knocked down from 3 now,
Okay.
so I gotta
Okay.
trust Tobias Harris.
That's fair.
Okay. I don't know, man. Harris was pretty disappointing in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
I think they're definitely up there, but I don't know. It'll take a lot more to convince me that they're the best team, especially after what Kawhi did in the playoffs.
That's true, and they also lost JJ Redick, which I think was I think he was a really good compliment to Ben Simmons, and it does help that they have Al Horford, who's a pretty good shooter by all means, but I think losing like a player like JJ Redick and then
Yeah, they don't have enough shooting though.
Yeah.
I mean it's not to say that the shooting is the only problem, but you need players that complement Simmons well and Embiid especially. I do think, or with that said, I still do think that Philly's on my list the second best team, but
Yeah, I have them number 2 also.
Number 2.
Yeah, I might have to reconsider that now. I think about it. They're kind of garbage.
Wait, but I
The
think
lane is so clogged up.
Well, yeah, like a lot of people talk about how like Simmons and Embiid can never work together for like a championship level. I don't know if I agree with that, but like there's a lot of footage of like Embiid being forced to become a 3-point shooter because Simmons is always in the dunking spot.
I think I disagree with that. I think the thing with Embiid being a shooter is he wants to shoot the ball. Like, it's just kind of weird, but like you'd expect like a 7-1 guy to like be like banging down low, but I actually think Embiid really likes to shoot. And the thing about Ben Simmons is I really didn't like him, but I think like watching him more and kind of like I used to just think he was just kind of like just a dunker, but he cuts really well, and I think he's
Yeah.
one of the NBA's best like off ball. Like even though he doesn't know how to shoot, like he gets to a spot really well. And I think Embiid, if he works on his passing, I think that could be very, very like if he was more similar to Jokic, I think that the 76ers will actually do better than they did last
Yeah.
season.
That's why I think Horford is a really interesting ad for them because
Yeah.
he's had a lot of success with making point guards a lot better and like getting them penetration into the lane with his screens.
Yeah.
And also he's a pretty good passer, so I could see that combo working out pretty well. But I think for them to be like the best team in the NBA or able to beat whoever comes out on top on the West, they're gonna need Embiid to improve his shooting. And I don't know, Simmons. If Simmons can develop like a 17-footer, it's over. Like he's one of the
That's
best players in the NBA if he learns how to shoot.
Right.
Their team will be like so tall and so gigantic. I think their defense like
Yeah.
kind of just is their offense.
Yeah,
That's
I
pretty much
do
it.
agree. I think their size is underrated. I think
Yeah.
like people always talk about small ball. It's like it's kind of a myth. I
Yeah,
think
everyone's huge on that.
playing big, like you have so many matchup problems when you play against the Sixers, and they can guard you with anyone.
I got Bucks at number 3.
Think I'm with you on that. I'm not sure though.
I don't think the Bucks look that good.
Honestly, I think after thinking about it a little bit more, I actually put the Bucks at number 1. Like
Whoa,
wow.
no
Wait,
way.
whoa.
I was-
above the Clippers.
I was thinking I might like the Bucks more than the Sixers.
Yeah,
Really?
I
What?
definitely think like more than the Sixers.
Okay, I
but
think there's definitely an argument there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're close.
Yeah.
I think
But
top
number
2.
1,
It's 1 or 2. I
Okay.
think I also have the Rockets up there too, like probably 1 or 2. So I think the top 2 for me are the Rockets and the
Wow.
Bucks.
yeah,
Um,
that's interesting.
so the Bucks, I think the big loss was Brogdon,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
you know it is a pretty big loss, but you know they did retain a lot of their core. You know,
He got Rolo.
they
Yeah.
got Robin
Oh,
Lopez.
gosh.
they grabbed Wes Matthews, who I think works as a
True.
good.
That's
like,
a sneaky good signing. Yeah.
a good 2-3. You know, they kept Middleton, obviously kept Giannis, kept George Hill, who was really good for them in the playoffs. And then, yeah, you know, he said he got Robin Lopez, who is a really good, like, really good backup.
He's like a really good defender too.
Yeah, really good backup center to Brook Lopez. And I think it would have been better if they kept Mirotic. I think they would
Yeah.
really be contenders if they kept Mirotic. But
He went overseas, right?
yeah, he went to
Yeah.
Barcelona, I think.
Oh man.
But you know, Ilyasova is kind of similar to Mirotic.
No.
Wait, no, they are.
Mirotic was a little underwhelming on the Bucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was a lot better on the
Yeah,
Pelicans.
he was
On the
way
Falcons,
better.
it was helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's still a solid player.
And I think it's not too far fetched to say that Giannis will get better next
I
season.
agree.
Yeah.
And which is kind of crazy because he had such an incredibly dominant regular season, and I don't think like personally I think maybe the only team that can stop him defensively is the Clippers, but
Really? Oh. I think the Sixers match up really well.
Actually, we
Possible.
didn't get to see that matchup this
Yeah,
year.
yeah, we did.
So
Yeah.
that's actually a good point.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
theoretically, I feel like
That's
Who would they put on him? They put Simmons on him.
no, they put
Embiid?
Horford because
Oh,
Horford
yeah.
guarded.
Yeah, Horford did
Giannis.
all right against Giannis in the playoffs. It
Against
wasn't
the
like
Celtics.
it wasn't amazing, but
but they have Embiid in the paint with like another defender.
Yeah, they
on-
can do
That's
like
true.
two big men.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I think why the Raptors played such good defense against Giannis was that you had, you know, obviously you had a defensive player of the year in Marc Gasol, you know, guarding the rim, but I think the biggest key was that they had Siakam and Kawhi
Yeah.
able to switch like seamlessly, and you know if one player was tired, they swap the other on him.
yeah.
And then by all means, like Danny Green and Kyle Lowry were incredible defenders too. I just don't know if like the Sixers have that switching ability. I don't think Tobias Harris is a good defender either. So
yeah.
you have at least one player that's exploitable, which, you know, if there's a mismatch on one end, Giannis he'll just take care of it. Like
Yeah.
no
That's
questions
true.
asked.
I think it's definitely possible that the Bucks win it all. But-
Really?
Yeah,
What?
I think it's definitely possible.
Mm.
But I think when I look at the Clippers, it feels like it's like Kawhi on the Raptors, but upgraded.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like you,
so-
you talk about that switching ability. Now you can switch Paul George onto him,
Yeah.
like another one of the best defenders in the NBA.
Yeah. So I don't like completely disagree with the Bucks pick, but yeah.
I think they'll do really well in the East for sure.
Yeah.
It'll be an interesting conference finals.
No Lakers yet though.
Don't worry, I got Lakers.
Wait,
I got
where do
Lakers
y'all
here.
have the Lakers?
I got Lakers 5th on my list.
Okay, I also have them 5th, but with an asterisk.
Like
Okay.
5th in
Fifth
the
that they
West
won't make
or
it.
5th in overall.
in the whole
Yeah. I got Rockets 4th.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I do think the more I think about the Rockets, the more I think it's either going to be amazing or a huge train wreck. Like,
yeah. I mean, I think the Rockets will be good because
they have so much talent. It's
Yeah.
hard to be bad with
Yeah.
that many good players.
I mean, ultimately, yeah.
It all depends for me on like the coaching staff. Like what do they?
They're not changing anything.
No. Like
They're just catching.
I think
not
it's-
necessarily that they change the coaching, but they have to change the strategy in some way, right? They can't go like, oh, ISO Westbrook, ISO Harden every possession.
I think they are.
That's kind of what they did with CP3 though. They just kind of like, oh, when Harden doesn't want to go, oh, give the ball to CP3, and then they run some real offense with CP3, and then oh, let Harden do like 10 dribbles.
I guess, but
I don't know. I think their main like factor of success is like if Westbrook can bring it back to his MVP level play, because when he was playing on point, he was insane.
yeah,
Like actually the most talented player in the NBA at like certain points in his career.
like the first triple-double year.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He was insane.
Yeah, like even though the triple double was a little bit overblown, I think like he deserved the MVP that year.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think Westbrook, again, it kind of revolves around him, like, kind of buying into the Rocket system. But I do think that the coaching staff can make it work. I think Harden is, underrated as an off-ball player. And, yeah, it all just really depends if Westbrook can play off-ball. Because, if you play similarly to how they ran the offense with CP3, because, at the beginning of the year, before CP3 got injured, the Rockets played a good offensive system, and then once CP3 got injured, they went back to the ISO ball for the rest of the year because it worked. But I think for the beginning part of the year, especially because last year they got knocked out by the Warriors just playing that ISO ball, I think they tried to switch it up early in the season, and it worked. But so I think if they keep with that system, try to integrate more ball movement, then I think the Rockets could definitely win it all. And I think it all just comes down to Westbrook being able to buy into this system of, and it's I have more confidence in the Rockets because I think Mike D'Antoni is an incredibly, he's an offensive genius. He's modernized the NBA offense. He knows how to work with so many superstars, and I have no doubt that he will do miles ahead. He'll be miles better than Billy Donovan ever was.
For sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
They were one CP3 injury away from an almost guaranteed championship.
Yeah, so
I think the key though is Westbrook shooting.
Why are you shaking your head?
Wait, you don't agree with that, man?
No, I just
Are you a
think
Russell
back to
Westbrook hater?
his Florida days when the Florida Gators were so good.
that
And
team
then
was also really good though.
Yeah, that
And
team
then
was
he moved to NBA.
stacked. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that team had Horford, Noah,
Yeah.
Parsons.
Yeah.
That was actually insane. That was like an NBA lineup.
I still think it's so interesting how so many college coaches just go to NBA.
And they just suck. Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
suck. It's like,
Yeah. It's a whole different game.
yeah, maybe
College
it's,
coaches have,
attitude.
Half of their job is recruiting players and
That's right.
I think part of it too is college coaches have so much more power in college than in the NBA.
Yeah.
Because they're in the school for long term while players are coming and going, right?
Yeah.
So they have more leverage in that case. Well, in the pros, the stars have all the leverage.
Yeah. This
So
gives
it's
me
hard to tell them
PTSD.
what to do.
This gives me PTSD for Rick Pitino on the
Oh,
Celtics.
Hey,
Oh
go
my
Brad
God.
Stevens.
Oh yeah, Brad Stevens is the one guy. I fucking love Brad.
Yeah.
All right, so finally, number 5, the Lakers. That's my number 5.
I think that's my 5, but I don't know. I've been kind of shifting around a little bit here.
I think it's
I feel like they have
Talent wise,
support,
you can't argue against them being top 5
Yeah,
talent wise. But it's who knows what LeBron we're gonna get next season.
Yeah.
And what I don't know, the rest of their team is kind of hit or miss. DeMarcus Cousins, who knows what the hell's going on with him? He looks pretty skinny though. I like.
Oh
it.
yeah.
He looks really
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
He's been
Got
looking
him good
good.
shape.
I think he'll be fine, but I mean,
Skinnier
Things
than
can always
Zion
happen.
Williamson.
Yeah. Wait, they're all everyone or the roster looks really good on paper.
It actually.
but a lot of them are kind of old or like
Yeah.
falling off
Mhm.
or
A little bit. Yeah.
like those kinds of players. So that makes me question like how long they'll last in terms of like durability. I don't know like, and also like I have questions about how good they are defensively. I know Anthony Davis is insane, but the rest of the roster, like there are good defenders, but they're all pretty old. Danny Green is old, LeBron is old,
Yeah.
Rondo's old.
We've never really seen Davis on like a really good team, which
Yeah.
and like he's kind of gonna have to be the alpha dog in a lot of times where LeBron's like taking it easy.
Yeah.
LeBron's not gonna be the same LeBron from Cleveland where he can just carry the team on a whim. It's gonna have to be up to Davis, and he's gonna have to play really well in like big playoff games, which we haven't seen from him yet.
Yeah.
Was Rondo hurt a lot of last season or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was.
That's interesting because
Yeah.
they signed Quinn Cook, and so besides
Oh,
Rondo,
yeah.
they only have like Caruso and Cook. So it's like,
They have.
What do
Wait,
they
they
do?
get Avery Bradley.
Yeah.
oh, they have.
Avery Bradley's not a.
He's
true
not
point
really a
guard.
point guard, but he
either.
can dribble the ball off the court.
Well, I mean, you have LeBron, so
Yeah.
Well, the big news is that LeBron's gonna play point guard next year.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
that's
we
like
we
for
should talk
sure.
about that.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
a guarantee. I think they guarantee.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
So-
someone on the Lakers.
He's not gonna
front
trust
office.
Rajon Rondo as a point guard.
Yeah, so I think that
Hey,
brings a
that's
new
crazy.
dynamic because you bring in.
That makes it interesting.
You have Danny Green and Kuzma on the wings, which
Mhm.
provides a lot of good spacing, and then obviously Anthony Davis and Cousins both could shoot, like if they need to. I think the bench becomes a little bit more wishy-washy because you have Rondo, Bradley, Quinn Cook, Caldwell Pope, Dudley, and McGee. So I think their bench is a little lackluster. So I think like the Lakers' potential, like clearly it comes down to how good their starting lineup is and how well they mesh, because I think, especially with the other four teams that we talked about, I think their bench is a lot weaker. And if, recency has proved anything, you have to have a good bench going into the playoffs too. So it'll be interesting to see. I think the Lakers obviously the Lakers have good potential to win it all, but at the same time there is a lot of room for disappointment because I think, like you said, like a lot of their good players are getting older. I think Kuzma's the only one that's. I think even Kuzma's like 25, 26.
Yeah,
right? So,
he's new to the NBA, but not like a super young
right.
player.
And then the rest of their team, most of them are over 30, over 31.
Yeah.
So
It's gonna be up to Cousins and Davis to really pull a lot of their weight, I think.
Wait, so this might be recency bias, but do you guys think that, or where would you rank LeBron in terms of like best players in the league right now?
Ooh,
Because
that's interesting.
like
Okay,
we
well,
haven't seen him dominate in a
okay.
while. He hasn't played in the playoffs, so like
I mean, Kawhi's the best player. We can all agree on that, right? I don't think he's the best player.
I would
Giannis-
100% agree, but I think it's
I think Giannis is better?
I think Giannis is better than
Okay.
Kawhi.
Yeah.
I think skill-wise, you can argue for Giannis, but I don't know. Kawhi-
I will pick Kawhi, but Kawhi's also my favorite
Okay,
player.
that's fair.
So
I don't know. I just think that playoff run was like, it's like when
one
LeBron
of the best
when
playoff
LeBron
runs.
did it, we were talking about, oh, is he better than Jordan? And when Kawhi did it, like I don't know, like he dismantled the Bucks. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nasty.
I think it was like,
Like,
I think
people
it's
were
pretty
talking-
clear.
yeah,
The
people-
head-to-head in that series determined it for me. I think if Giannis played better in that series, there would be more of an argument in my mind.
Well, so are we talking about this previous season or going into next season?
I don't know, just like going into this next season.
Like,
I
who's the
guess.
best player right now?
Yeah, like,
at
yeah,
this moment.
Because
Exactly.
if we're talking about last
If you
season,
could pick one player to put on your team, I think like who would it be? Just for one season.
one season.
Have
I
the
mean,
best
one
chance.
season, I'd still choose LeBron. Honestly, I still
Okay.
think
Okay, that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
I think like going into last season, I would say KD was the best player. But
Yeah,
I
that's also
still
fair.
think like for the past probably 10 years, there's never been or not 10 years, maybe like 6-7 years. There's never been a point where LeBron hasn't been below past two. I think
Yeah.
I think
That's
LeBron
true.
honestly is still better than Kawhi. I'd still take LeBron. over
There's a
Kawhi.
lot of questions about LeBron though. There's
Yeah.
not really that
He's-
many questions about Kawhi. There's some questions about Kawhi in terms of his injury history and all that, but I don't know. Like LeBron's season was lackluster. I think we can all agree that he's better than what he showed us last season.
How old is LeBron now? 35?
30.
No, there's no way he's 32.
No. What?
Wait, no,
32.
he's not 32.
The what?
34.
34. Okay.
32. He's been in the NBA for like 20 years.
Came out of high school.
Yeah.
I forgot I was 29.
Wait, if he's 32, that would be insane.
Wait, okay, so the new 2K ratings have
Wait.
LeBron.
Wait a minute.
Have
Wait.
LeBron and Kawhi at the top, at both tied at 97 overall.
I feel like the
I
97
don't
is
care
like a
about NBA.
Wait,
Alright,
I'm just
okay.
saying that's like the argument.
I heard that 2K does have like a statistical formula for predicting
Yeah.
ratings.
Okay, that's
But,
fair.
I think 90 or the tied ranking
Yeah,
might also be a respect thing.
it
Like-
is. And then,
But LeBron has the legacy.
Yeah.
Like if you're just basing it off of like what he did last season, there's no way you can argue that LeBron James is the best player in the NBA. But we know that he's better than
Yeah.
what he showed us
The
last
only
year.
thing
We know he's a lot
like
better.
the caveat is that you can say like, oh, like he turns it on in the playoffs, but he didn't play in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
that's
so you
yeah.
don't know.
But he didn't turn it on to get to the
Yeah.
playoffs.
Well, I think LeBron, like the case, and this is like I'm not a huge like LeBron supporter either, but I think like his team really just was really riddled with injuries last season. Like
That's true.
Lonzo, Ingram are both out for really extended periods of time,
Yeah.
and like for me, like I think I could never just put Kawhi as like the best player because I think when he's had success, he's had incredibly talented teams around him.
yeah.
I think like I don't think we've ever seen a team where Kawhi was this good but also had a struggling team around him like LeBron did. I think if you stick Kawhi in the play like on the Lakers last year, like they barely scraped the playoffs. If that, I think they still missed the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
I think like the Raptors were an incredibly well structured team, like with or without. I think they still had an incredibly good regular season without Kawhi playing, and that's with Siakam, with Marc Gasol, with Danny Green and Lowry, and their really really deep bench. So that's why I can never like put Kawhi above.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fair.
Honestly,
yeah.
like I think people forget the Raptors were legit like one shot away from losing to the 76ers.
Right.
So
That's
like
true, yeah.
they really weren't that good. Like
Yeah, it wasn't like the Warriors with KD situation where
Yeah.
you're bringing like the best player in the league onto the best team in the league. Like
Yeah.
the Raptors were kind of like, they had a good shot because LeBron left the East, but it wasn't like guaranteed championship with Kawhi.
Yeah.
I think
It was still a struggle.
it was
for them.
really hard for
The
them.
difference
yeah.
is that like Kawhi is kind of that type of player. You get a good team, and he's a guy who will bring you over the top.
Yeah, exactly.
LeBron's a guy who can hard carry your team to like any situation.
That's one thing that was different about last season with LeBron though, is like the Cavaliers the previous season were like worse than the Lakers,
Yeah.
Like his supporting cast was even worse.
Yeah.
And he was still able to make the finals. So that says to me that either one, he didn't care that much about last season, or like injuries. He's getting
Injuries.
older.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, maybe like not as much chemistry with his team. I don't know if you can really argue that though, because
There was chemistry issues.
yeah,
because of,
yeah,
like, the
that's
trade rumors.
that's fair. But I don't know. The way I see it is sort of just like LeBron getting acclimated to the Western Conference, like
Yeah.
having to play better teams like almost every night is like a huge change too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
And so like LeBron seemed a lot better in our eyes also because he was playing against Eastern Conference teams for majority of the years.
Mm.
Yeah. I don't know. Like Kawhi for me, definitely top 5 player. Could never be number 1.
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
Never.
think-
Okay,
yeah.
that's interesting.
I think Kawhi, like it's just
He's not a passer. I can
yeah,
give you that
and
one.
I think
Yeah.
that's something that it's not. Giannis isn't really a passer either, but Giannis is just more of just physically dominant and just could just bully pretty much anyone in the league to do whatever he wants. And I think LeBron still has incredible passing for his age. He still has incredible vision, and I think when he wants to turn it on, he turns it on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Kawhi has that, like, just take over. Well, he does have that takeover, but not to the extent that LeBron
Yeah,
does.
Kawhi's more of just like he there's no problems with his game. You can
Yeah,
put him on
yeah.
any team and he'll do
Mhm.
well. I think that's why I value him really highly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, Ming, who's your number 1 player?
My.
Did you say?
Mm,
You didn't say it right.
yeah.
Because it's not Kawhi for you.
Shane Battier.
If he comes back out of
Pau
retirement.
Gasol.
Yeah, honestly, it's so hard to judge. I think it's either between LeBron or Kawhi, but I don't know like
Okay.
which one. It probably is still LeBron, I think, because I don't know.
Really?
Because
Wow.
we always.
I
think
have
just-
insane respect for LeBron, but I was like, I don't know. I thought that people agreed that Kawhi, like LeBron did not play at all in the
Yeah.
playoffs. Let me remind you, we haven't seen LeBron play for months.
Yeah.
We just saw Kawhi Leonard dominate the Golden State Warriors.
Honestly, the Warriors
I
were
don't know.
1-4 with Durant.
In 4. I don't know
Okay,
about that.
I don't know.
They lost 2
No.
games to the Clippers.
They would have dumped.
They lost 2 games to the Clippers with Durant.
Okay, they were
This is-
warming up to play
Yeah,
out
that was
shape.
also their first round matchup. It was a little
Yeah.
bit slower.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Okay,
But
I completely agree. If they had Durant, they would have
yeah,
beat
they
the
would have
Raptors.
won. Yeah, they would have won.
But I think sweep is a little disrespectful.
Maybe 5.
Maybe 5. Yes, maybe 5.
I would still give the Raptors a game, but
Yeah.
Injuries are a huge part of the NBA. Like
Yeah,
Kawhi was
that's
playing
true, that's
injured
true.
too. You
Yeah.
know, he wasn't fully healthy. I think that's another thing that made his
Yeah.
run even more impressive.
That's true. So, to wrap up this topic, the top 5 teams that we all have are Clippers.
But we didn't even talk about the Clippers really.
Yeah, we barely talked about or just to recap though, Clippers,
Yeah.
76ers, Bucks, Rockets, and Lakers. That's their 5
Okay.
teams.
Can we have like a consensus top 5, or are we just too divided on
Or
this?
how about we do consensus, or are we trying to do consensus on the order, or just the teams
Yeah,
that
just
are
like we all agree that these 5 teams are the best, right? Do you
Yeah.
have the Rockets in your top 5?
I don't think so.
Okay, who's your 5th team then? Do you have the Lakers?
I think the Lakers are better than the Rockets.
Okay, so then who's your 5th team? Out of the other than the Clippers, Sixers, Bucks, and Lakers, who's your 5th? Utah?
Honestly,
Denver?
I really want to say Portland. But
Hell
Wait,
no.
Portland?
No, dude. I just.
Portland.
I'm just imagining in the playoffs next year, it's
That's true, that's
Portland versus Houston, and Damian Lillard just takes a dump on Russell once again.
Wait, they
That's
lost.
all.
Wait a minute.
Wait, hold up.
That's all I
They
care
lost
about.
their best player, Myers Leonard.
Yeah.
What the? No, dude.
Wait, that guy was popping off. In
Wait,
the
Damian
Western Conference
Lillard did not
Finals.
show up in the conference finals though.
But he destroyed the
No,
Thunder.
that's
Go ahead.
that's my biggest problem with Dame though. Like, Dame is insanely good, and I
Yeah.
really like him. But I think teams game plan for him and make it really hard for him. And in those games, he struggles a lot.
Yeah, it's sort of like the Steph Curry effect. Like we
Yeah.
know he's like one of the most talented players in the NBA, but there's ways to deal with him.
Yeah.
There's no way to deal with like LeBron.
Yeah. Like there are certain players who are cheat codes, and there's certain players
Yeah.
who are just like really good.
And like when Russell Westbrook is playing on, there's no way to deal with him.
Yeah.
You know.
I still
That's,
think
that's why I give the Rockets the edge. They also just have more talent overall.
the Trailblazers are like a sleeper because they'll get
They're
mean,
good. They're not
I
bad.
think
They'll get
I think
Nurkic
they're a playoff sleeper for sure,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't put them top 5
Yeah.
teams in the NBA.
Yeah, the whole reason they made it to the Western Conference Finals was just because like it was kind of a weird season for seeding.
I still think if the Spurs won Game 7, they would have beaten the Trailblazers.
There's
No.
definitely
Well-
there's definitely a chance that that happened.
Okay, I think the big thing. I mean, it's defending. I think the big X factor is Nurkic, and
Yeah.
Nurkic
That's true.
wasn't in the
Nurkic
playoffs.
coming back is gonna be big.
Like
Yeah.
honestly, like the Spurs, if they had to face Nurkic, like they would have lost in 5. Like, if they,
Come on, man.
like
I think so
Nurkic,
too. I
wait,
think so too.
honestly,
yeah,
I-
Nurkic
yeah.
is a beast.
We can't understand how big Nurkic was for the Blazers last year, and they were like on a roll going into the playoffs. And once he got injured, they kind of fell apart. And when you have to play Myers Leonard or Zach Collins,
Enes Kanter though.
yeah, or Cantor, and Cantor had his shoulder was like
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
destroyed
Yeah,
by the
that's-
playoffs.
yeah.
So
Crazy.
Like he had to tape like every game.
I think the big thing that the Blazers did lose is both Aminu and Mo Harkless, which was a very dynamic wing duo, and that came up pretty clutch in terms of like having like going back to like the switchability. Like they don't have that ability anymore. I mean, their best wing defender right now I think is Kent Bazemore.
Yeah, they got Ken
Bazemore.
Bazemore.
Who are their wing? Kent Bazemore,
Rodney
Hood.
Hood.
Is that the main ones?
Yeah, because they lost Evan Turner.
Bernie
too.
Simons.
Oh yeah. Simons I think is pretty. It will be.
Everyone loves that kid.
Yeah, make a good impact, but I think there's potential for the Blazers to sneak into the top 4 of the Western Conference like seeding. I think they'll be a good regular season team. I think it all really just depends on how good like their center situation is, because
Yeah.
Whiteside could come back very motivated and
Yeah, they still have Whiteside for when Nurkic is sort of injured still.
Yeah.
Personally, I would put the Nuggets over the Trailblazers, but I think Trailblazers do definitely have like
Yeah.
a lot of promise.
It's all pretty clogged up there in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
Like you could argue for almost any team past like the top couple,
Spurs.
except for the Spurs.
Wait, I just want to bring this up.
Okay.
Lonnie Walker is insane in the
Oh.
summer league right now. DeJounte Murray, all NBA defense coming back. I think the Spurs are looking pretty good. Keldon Johnson, He's been balling out in the
They'll
summer
be
league,
okay. They'll be okay. I don't know. I'm not as high on the Blazers or Nuggets, so who knows what'll happen.
All right.
I mean, I just wanna bring up the summer league MVP winners for the past 13 years. So this
Hey,
year
come on,
was
man.
Brandon Clark. Last year was
Okay.
Josh Hart, Lonzo Ball,
Josh Hart's pretty good.
Tyus Jones,
Josh Hart is fine.
Kyle,
Yeah, he's very fine.
Kyle Anderson, Glenn Rice Jr.
Wait, Kyle Anderson won it?
Yeah, in 2015.
Slow mo.
Wait, okay.
Hey, where's
that
he?
award officially means
Hey, where's
nothing.
he at now?
He's on the Grizzlies.
Is he still in the Grizzlies?
Oh yeah, they re-signed him. So I don't think summer league really means anything.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the Spurs are just incredibly mediocre.
Wait, you're saying that because.
Oh wait, no. Like I think they'll make the playoffs, but I think they'll be seventh,
Okay.
eighth seed.
Exit first
The
round.
more that I
Yeah.
think about it, I think the Spurs are
Exactly.
actually not bad, but they're probably like a 6 seed.
Are they gonna make it past the
All right,
first
we'll
round?
be the bracket
Hell no.
busters. Bracket busters.
Actually,
next
they
season.
might. Who knows what'll happen, dude? The
Yeah.
NBA is fucking whack now.
Yeah.
Wait, on the point of summer league, apparently like there's a trend now that like a lot of the superstars, rookies, just don't want to play summer league anymore because like their agents are like, oh, it's gonna like hurt their performance coming into the season.
It's gonna hurt their performance. Like they get
Like,
injured or
Yeah,
what?
if they
Yeah,
get
yeah.
injured, then
Like, it's like
Oh.
not worth like the pros are not worth like the cons.
That makes sense.
yeah, you look at someone like Zion who got injured
Yeah,
first
yeah.
game. Like
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
you just pull him out. You know,
Yeah.
you're losing you're risking a lot.
It's not really worth that much to have him play against other like college players that he
Yeah,
can.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Summer league should be for players who are like trying to get a spot somewhere, and then like.
I kind of like that there's rookies in it though.
Yeah, I think as a viewer, I love the fact that the rookies
Yeah.
are in
Yeah.
it. But like, just like from strictly like basketball career perspective,
Well, yeah, but then it's just like G League preseason.
Dude, yeah. That is not hype anymore.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
mean-
no one cares about.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
understand what you're saying,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
think it's good that there's good players in the summer league.
Yeah.
Otherwise, who are people gonna prove themselves against?
Yeah.
that's true. That's true.
I mean, RJ Barrett played really well in the summer league.
Yeah, he
so,
played great.
So
People were shitting on him in the first
Yeah.
couple games, though, which I
Yeah.
thought was hilarious.
I think the summer league is so hyped now that when like these superstar rookies come in, they just get
Like,
like blasted.
Taco
Like,
Fall.
or I guess Taco Fall
Yeah.
is like
Yeah, actually, that
it's
is.
someone who fit like his situation fit summer league so well because
Yeah.
he didn't have any hype and then he just
Yeah,
plays
yeah.
and then everyone's like a huge fan of
That's
him.
another good point, though. Is like if you're a top pick and you come in and you play bad, then
Dude,
people, your publicity goes down the drain. Like people are gonna think you're bad.
Like
Yeah.
Trey Young, oh my.
Or like
Yeah,
Zion too. He played for like.
Yeah, Zion barely played.
Everyone calls him fat.
Like if RJ Barrett only played like his first couple games, people would be like, "Oh man, he's a bust."
Yeah.
They would be already saying he's a bust.
Yeah, it gives you like a chance to like redeem yourself too.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. It's interesting though. I like seeing my rookies play for the
Yeah.
Celtics.
I definitely
My boy
enjoyed
Carson Edwards.
the Spurs this summer league. On to the next topic. On to the next topic.
Next topic. Okay.
We're talking about the players who've joined a new team this offseason that you're most excited about.
All right.
Who wants to go first?
You want to start me?
Man. Wait.
I'm always interested to hear what you have to say because I feel like you have like no allegiance to anyone except Shane Battier.
Yes. So basically, like new player,
Like-
player on new team that I'm most excited for.
Yeah. Or it could even just be like a player like maybe someone left the team, and now they're the starter or something like that.
Someone
Anyone
who
else?
has like a new role
Yeah,
or
yeah.
anything like that.
Okay, from a fantasy perspective,
Fantasy.
I'm really excited for Ricky
First the-
Rubio on the Suns.
Oh.
First the 2K perspective, now the fantasy perspective.
I'm just saying, like Ricky
Okay,
Rubio
never mind. I won't ask you to go first anymore.
on the Suns, but like honestly, he's just there to get his money, but he'll probably put up like crazy numbers.
Really?
Yeah, I think
Devin
so.
Booker's gonna have the ball for 80 minutes a game.
Yeah, but if Ricky can get like a triple double, that's crazy.
Wait, you can't get a
Do you think he's gonna
triple-double.
average a triple
Okay,
double?
I don't think he'll average, but he might. They might get a little bit
I
close,
don't
and that'll be
know.
like, kind of crazy.
Rubio's situation in the Jazz was really good too.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, like
Not
he
for
had,
not for fantasy.
no, but he could do pick and roll with Rudy Gobert all day.
Yeah.
Rudy Gobert is one of the best finishers in the league.
It was okay.
It was
I
good.
don't know.
It was
Yeah.
okay.
The Suns are kind of fucked, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited to see Dallas.
Oh,
Dallas is very interesting.
Porzingis.
I just want to see them play. Yeah.
Yeah. People are saying Porzingis has MVP potential.
Really?
Potential.
I
That's
don't-
crazy.
I don't know if I agree.
Potential is a very strong word.
With that. Yeah.
I'd say maybe there's a slight chance in the far future. Maybe, I don't know. I don't think he's an MVP.
Or everyone
Caliber
sees
player.
Dirk, right, in Porzingis. So
I guess, I don't know.
yeah.
I like Doncic more than
Yeah.
Porzingis, honestly.
Yeah.
I think he's more of an MVP type player.
It's
Yeah.
true.
I feel like he might, or not necessarily slump, but like, you know how like Donovan Mitchell popped off his rookie year and then like
Yeah.
he kind of slowed down a little bit.
I guess.
Yeah,
I
I feel
think-
like that might happen.
I think Doncic is like, he's one of the most NBA ready players like in
That's
history
true.
of the NBA. I think he'll be fine. He
Yeah.
might not have like a huge jump, but he'll be like at least as good as he was last year, and the team will be way better. So
Yeah, yeah.
it'll be really interesting to see.
I really hope he makes like a huge jump, cause then
That would be
that would be
amazing.
really
Yeah.
interesting.
Then
Yeah.
then the Mavericks are suddenly like in the
in
playoffs.
the playoff time,
Yeah.
that's what I want to see.
It would be amazing to see them play. Like,
But I
a
don't want to
series.
see that because they might replace the Spurs. in the playoffs, but
There's good potential.
I'm thinking about it. Maybe they're better than the Spurs.
I think they'll be fighting like.
They're
for
pretty
7,
damn.
8,
They're pretty
yeah.
damn good. Yeah.
They could be. Yeah.
It's all up to what happens with Porzingis though. Like,
Yeah.
is he gonna come back the same player?
True. Very true.
a player I'm excited about is Julius Randle.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
I like
For
that.
fantasy.
No,
That's
Or
another,
I might
that's
pick
another
him up for
fantasy. That's
Oh,
another fantasy
uh,
pick.
Fantasy
But
superstar.
I think like you know
Wow.
how like, Knicks had such high
25 a
expectations.
game.
Knicks had like such high expectations and they didn't get any like star free agents. So I
Mhm.
think like.
Wait, Marcus Morris though.
Okay. Fuck Marcus Morris. Okay. But I think like Knicks fans are super sad right now, but I think Julius Randle is like a sleeper signing. People were super disappointed, but I think he has potential for 25 and 11.
How many years
No
he signed
way.
for?
Like,
Like 3
I
no,
years?
think he hit
25 and 11.
I think he can get 25.
He could get
I actually
25
think so.
points.
I think he can.
25 and 11.
25 on like 42% shooting. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't say anything about percentages
Yeah.
or turnovers.
Oh.
Yeah, man. Terry Rozier could get 25 on 20% shooting.
Like the Hornets have no one to score on their team. I think the Knicks at least have some scoring offense.
Yeah, they have Marcus Morris.
Alright,
I mean,
let's,
I feel like they're gonna
not-
give the ball a lot to.
No,
Barrett
Marcus
and-
Morris is actually good. Yeah, RJ Barrett,
Yeah.
Kevin Knox.
RJ Barrett.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I just can't see Randall getting because
Randall will be a 20 and 10 guy, I think, for sure.
yeah, maybe
20,
20 and
Okay.
10. I think
He was 20 and like 8 this past season.
Okay, maybe not 10. I haven't looked at his rebounding.
yeah, he was 21 and 8, 21
Okay.
and 9. I think 25 is just a little.
25, that's a real
25
fantasy
and
pick.
11.
Yeah,
That's like
I don't
going
know.
after All Star.
But yeah,
yeah.
his contract is like 3 years, right? Something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I think he has an option.
Okay.
On
Okay, that's pretty good. I honestly don't think Knicks fans have that much to be sad about.
Yeah.
no, Julius Randle was incredibly solid.
Yeah.
He's a stud.
Like
honestly.
none of the signings would have put them over the top to win the championship like for the next season or two anyway.
Right.
They would need 2 max players, right?
Yeah, exactly. So they're setting themselves up nicely for like 2 years from now.
Yeah.
When like Giannis and Beal are free agents.
I can't see Giannis leaving. though.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
But there's always a chance. You never know. Like we thought Kawhi would never leave. And then suddenly
Ooh, that's true.
and then
That
suddenly
hurts,
there's
yeah.
huge
That
drama.
hurts.
I know,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
But suddenly there's huge drama and he wants out to LA. Like what? Like this guy we never thought
Yeah,
would
that's
want to
true.
leave. Like Giannis seems like that kind of guy too. And also he's not from the US, so he's not going to go home to play.
Yeah.
He's not going to like, "Oh, I'm going back to Greece." Fuck you guys. But you never know. And Beal is a big free agent, so
Mm.
Who's your?
I don't think they struck out too much. Kemba Walker is my number 1.
Oh,
Makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think the Celtics with Kyrie were so disappointing that literally any other point guard other than Terry Rozier would be way better. I'm just excited to see what it'll look like with Hayward a little bit more healthy, and with a non-Kyrie Irving point guard.
I think the difference between Kemba and Kyrie is I think Kemba's not as ISO heavy as the Kyrie is. in my
Yeah, he
opinion.
kind of had to be on the Hornets.
Yeah.
Like I think that sort of made it so his field goal percentage, all that, like his stats didn't look as nice because he had to take like so many bad shots every game.
Yeah.
He's like the only player who could do anything.
I have a feeling like on the Celtics, like Kyrie, I don't know if any of this is true, but I have a feeling that Kyrie just didn't buy into Steven's system.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like Kemba could have a similar role that Isaiah Thomas did,
Yeah.
So, like,
he's more of like a humble player. Like he's never
Yeah.
really been in the playoffs. He's never really like
Yeah.
won anything other than like in NCAA. But
So I definitely think like he's a big player to watch this season.
I agree. I think Kyrie being gone will be good for all the Celtics players, but
Yeah.
I'm extremely biased. I still have extreme faith in Jason Tatum.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I think he'll be great this year. I think Hayward will be good. I don't know if he'll be as good as he used to be, like on the Jazz when he was like all-star level player. But I think it'll be a way more balanced roster, and Brad Stevens will be able to do his thing. Like he wasn't really able to do his thing last year with Kyrie, sort of like micromanaging everything. Yeah. And so I like the Celtics outlook. I think they're like 5th or 4th in the East right now.
Who's your player to watch this season?
I have two. The first is D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah.
I think
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I was extremely excited to hear that he was coming here, and I'm moving to New York, so I was really excited to watch the Nets with D'Angelo Russell. Now that Kyrie's there, a little more disappointed. But
Kyrie, I think Kyrie will be fine. That's another thing to talk about. I'm actually excited to see Kyrie play this season.
Yeah.
I think there's a huge chance he'll just be great on the Nets.
That's true. I think if Durant comes back, even like 80% of like what he was, I think the Nets are going to be really, really well off next year. But
he'll post him up. They'll post each other up. It'll be great.
It'll be great.
But D'Angelo Russell, I think, creates such an interesting dynamic for the Warriors. Even when Klay is out, but especially more when Klay comes back, because I think this past year I was just harping about how bad all the secondary ball handlers for the Warriors were. Sean Livingston forgot how to play basketball in a year. Quinn Cook was...
Come on, man.
This criticism.
I mean, like...
I agree with you, though. I agree.
I mean, and then Quinn Cook just did not belong. He was getting cooked on defense every other
Getting cooked.
Yeah. So I think it's interesting, you have D'Angelo Russell, he's 6'3", already an all-star, 6'10" wingspan. He has incredible defensive potential, and obviously we know how good he is on offense. And then you pair him with, Steph Curry, and you have still, the core of the team, Klay Thompson, Draymond. You have in my opinion, I think they have a much better bench. You have, Alec Burks, Omari Spellman. You have rookies like Jordan Poole. I forgot, the 18-year-old rookie who I can't pronounce his name, so I'm not even gonna attempt to.
I'm with you. I think, and Russell was he was a shooting guard in college.
Right.
So I think he'll be fine playing with Curry, and there's so many times where Curry was just suffocated. He was the only ball handler, and he couldn't do anything. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see him play with another ball handler.
Yeah, I'm most interested
Russell.
just about the fit. What kind of offense are they gonna run? Is Steph Curry gonna be even more of a spot up shooter than he usually is too? So I think it'll just be fun to watch how they adjust their system after losing Durant.
Yeah. And then the second is, we kind of touched up on it before, but Al Horford, I think I'm incredibly excited about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck Al Horford. But he's also my man. I love Al.
Well, I loved Al Horford on the Celtics. You just watching him play, incredible player, just knows how to win.
Yeah.
And I think he's honestly, you couldn't ask for a better player next to Embiid, I feel like. Just perfect complement. At least this year, I think that contract, when we look at it, 3-4 years from now, it's gonna be really confusing. But I think the next 1 to 2 years, that 76ers team with Horford on it, it creates so much more potential. I think of it very similarly to how Millsap fits on the Nuggets. I think Millsap is a perfect complement to Jokic, and I think in a similar way, Horford will be a perfect complement to Embiid. He's incredibly smart, really good passer, can score when he needs to, defends really well. Defends, honestly 1 to 5 decently well. Just seeing him guard Giannis last two playoffs, clamped him down pretty well, as well as you could, I think, against Giannis. So those two are, I think, two I'm excited.
There's all these buzzwords that people throw out about players, he's knows how to win, transcends the box score. And Al Horford is one of the only players who actually fulfills those phrases. I think.
Didn't he have a streak of how many times his team made the playoffs or something?
Yeah, he's actually just such a positive influence on every team he's been on.
Yeah. So those two, we kind of talked about the Mavs, but Porzingis again.
Yeah.
not a free agent, but
Yeah.
that's gonna be really exciting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And my second one's also not a free agent, but it's Russell Westbrook.
Oh yeah, wait, that's fair. My second
Yeah.
one is Trey Lyles.
Oh okay. Well, we can
Oh.
skip that.
Yeah, you're on your own there.
We can skip
honestly.
that. I want to talk about Westbrook. I think it'll be good. I think there's a chance that it's a train wreck that everyone's scared of, but I don't know. Westbrook is just so talented and never been able to play with as much shooting as the Rockets have. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I would like to see some more creative offense from them than what they did with CP3. Like, sort of like, find a way to involve Harden off the ball
Yeah.
instead of having him just stand around. But they're just such talented players that it'll be exciting to see.
Who are the Rockets' wings right now? They have PJ Tucker.
PJ Tucker.
Eric
Gordon.
still.
Eric
Oh yeah, they
Gordon.
still have Gordon.
Daniel Huss Jr. I think they still have Gerald Green
Okay.
too.
No, I don't think they have Gerald Green.
They don't have Gerald Green anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm worried about like their wing defenders, cause like after like Harden's not known as a great defender. PJ Tucker's good, but like after PJ, like who else?
That's fair, but I don't know. I feel like they create so many matchup problems because of their athleticism that it's like
Yeah.
sort of goes both ways.
Yeah.
I do think that they don't match up very well against the Clippers is one of their big issues.
Yeah, I think you always need someone to guard like one of the best players in the league are usually like the small forwards / power forwards.
That's true.
So like I think you always need a guy who can guard one of those guys, like LeBron, like who can
Mhm.
guard like LeBron or KD. They have PJ Tucker, but
Yeah.
they don't have
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
other guy.
Yeah, when
guard,
you have to
like-
play the Clippers with two of the best wings in the
Yeah,
game, it's like
yeah.
you're gonna be stuck on an island sometimes with one of them, and they're just gonna cook you.
Yeah.
They're
Wait.
Queen cook you.
I think Russell Westbrook's actually a really good defender.
He is,
When
but
he-
he,
when he
he
wants
doesn't
to,
he doesn't
yeah.
care.
Yeah, but I think on Oklahoma City he had like too much offensive responsibility.
Yeah.
But I just remember like I don't know, one of the years for the Olympics.
Yeah, I was about to say
When
that.
he was just locking
Yeah,
down
I
like
know.
all these foreign players. They literally couldn't
Yeah,
do
exactly.
anything with the ball.
No, that was insane.
That was
I want to see that Westbrook
Yeah.
in the NBA.
That was
but
insane.
I think there's a chance that comes back with Harden being able to take so much of the offensive load off
Yeah.
of him.
I hope so.
Like the
yeah.
reason why he was able to do that was just because like everyone else on Team USA was just chucking the ball. Like Melo was going for 50.
yeah.
Westbrook is 31 next year.
Is he? I don't know. He's still in his
Let me
physical
check.
prime.
Yeah.
I definitely think he's still in
Westbrook
his prime.
age.
Yeah.
Westbrook.
He's 30.
He's 30. He'll turn 31 in November.
Honestly, he still looks like.
That's not a problem.
Yeah.
That's his physical prime.
Yeah,
he's
but
never
yeah,
gonna
it
be.
looks
He's
really
never
good.
gonna be better.
Yeah. But like point guards do start to fall off typically like once they break 30, like
I
31,
guess, but
32.
they're playing with Chris Paul before.
Yeah.
Like I think this is either gonna be like a gigantic upgrade or like at least as good.
Yeah. I think it's definitely an upgrade in my opinion, but like when I look at Chris Paul, like I look at him as a very like finesse skill guy, right?
Yeah, that's true. His
Well,
game
like-
his game kind of transcends age.
And then Westbrook is kind of like he depends a lot on his like speed.
Yeah,
So-
but we haven't seen that drop off yet,
Yeah,
so I don't think there's any reason
Yeah,
to be.
I'm just putting it out there.
Okay, that's
that it
fair.
could happen.
That's fair. Not really fair, actually, but
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like I think at first I was like questioning the fit, but honestly, like I think you're doing Westbrook like too much of a disservice. Like this guy is like
yeah,
all
he's a
NBA
great player. He was not
Yeah.
so great last year, but
Yeah, like he's still like I think he knows like just how to. I think he's a smarter player than I think we're giving him. Like
Yeah.
people like the general public give him credit for. Like
He definitely has a bad reputation,
right, and
like that he doesn't deserve.
right, and I think like I think his struggles like for like in terms of playoff success, I think revolved heavily around the coaching staff for one because
Yeah,
Scott
yeah,
Brooks
that's true.
and Billy Donovan just got pushed
Yeah.
around.
he's never really had a great coach.
Right.
before.
And I think it's been a while since, like, you know, as great as Paul George is, he's no James Harden. You know, I think James Harden is transcendent offensive player, probably the best offensive player at the current moment. Like playing, and then, you know, I think there's also an underrated chemistry aspect. You know, these guys have been literally childhood friends, and I think there's a lot of, like, they'll make things work. I think the thing with CP3 is people don't really love playing with him, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Everyone
so-
hates him.
Yeah.
So I think that's like where things get sour. Like I think even Harden, who appears like a very relaxed guy. I think he's very good teammate to get along with. I think there were even moments of frustration with CP3 like during last season. And I don't think the Rockets will have that this season. And we were talking about this season they pushed the Warriors to 6. or they got beat in 6. Last year they pushed Warriors to 7. You know, I think if Westbrook was there instead of CP3 for either of those years, you know, I think they could have won.
They have a real shot at making it to the finals. Yeah.
And their team isn't changed. Like I'm looking at their depth chart right now; it's literally the same.
Yeah.
You know, and all they added was Tyson Chandler, who's not going to be.
It's just the West is a little different now. Is the biggest thing.
Right.
Yeah.
They have to worry about the Clippers and the Lakers. And you know, there's still like unproven teams, whereas like the Rockets have pretty much stayed the same and have had a pretty good track record, like solid top 4 finishing every year.
Yeah.
So I think like there's a case that, you know, you could go into the season thinking that they're one of the favorites in the West, like maybe the favorite in the West.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I think that the whole experiment with Westbrook is gonna be incredibly interesting.
Yeah, I mostly just said that because I think it'll be fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
I do think they'll be good though. I think they'll be good.
They match up, really interesting against like Lakers and Clippers.
Yeah, there's gonna be so many matchup problems for both teams.
On both sides, just like
it's just gonna be offense. It's like we can't defend anyone.
And honestly, that's like great entertainment.
So those are the best games to watch.
It'll be a great series if they meet either of those teams.
For sure.
Any other players you guys are thinking of? Other than fantasy, who did you say? You said Ricky Rubio?
Yeah, Ricky Rubio.
Oh my.
Okay, no, but honestly, I think Jimmy Butler would be interesting on the Heat because I think he's gonna obviously wanna like push for the playoffs and like make a good run.
Yeah.
Okay, but also I'm just a fan of his because I follow his YouTube channel.
Wait, his YouTube channel is quality.
It's actually so
quality content.
That's fair.
He like posted a video of him like going to Miami, basically when he made the free agency decision.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the video, like basically the whole thing is just him playing dominoes at like a park in Miami, and like everyone's getting hella hype.
That's dope.
So like basically they just recruited him by playing dominoes, and that's it. But
yeah, actually Dwayne Wade hella recruited him. That's actually like
it's actually crazy.
Yeah, he's done so much for the Heat. You think they're a playoff team?
I think
probably.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think so.
But I don't know like if they could take.
They're not gonna beat any. They're not gonna beat any.
Like they're a playoff team, but they're a non-impact team.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're like the Magic last year. It's like
they do have Myers Leonard.
I mean, the Magic beat the Raptors.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they have Myers.
Dude, Myers Leonard almost
Wait, Myers Leonard, most improved player. That's my pick.
Really?
No, there's no way.
Most improved player, Jason Tatum.
Ooh, most improved player predictions. That's really hard.
I can't predict that because I only know players on the Celtics who are gonna improve.
I was gonna say DeJounte Murray or Lonnie Walker.
Oh, we could just go around and say you guys are both
like
Warriors.
bold predictions.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, who do you think one player on your team that'll make the biggest jump, or on your favorite team that'll make the biggest jump?
Kevon Looney. It's time.
Okay, I like Looney.
Yeah,
it's possible.
I think I saw him like in the playoffs. He shot like a couple jumpers. So
yeah, he's got mid range.
Yeah.
And he's solid. He's way better than Jordan Bell.
Yeah. Jordan Bell. Mine is DeJounte Murray or Lonnie Walker. I think Lonnie Walker will be so good this year. Like when I look at him,
all right,
I'm so happy.
We got it on record. So.
We'll see.
Yeah. It's kind of unfair to say, but I think Gordon Hayward will be way better.
Yeah. I do think he'll be way better.
Yeah. I think there's honestly a chance Jaylen Brown is like insane this year. I really liked him last year.
I'm excited for
I liked him more than Tatum last year, honestly.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown has like a huge ceiling. He just needs to.
A huge ceiling.
He has a pretty high ceiling.
Yeah.
It's nothing will ever reach the insane ceiling of rookie Jason Tatum. That was a higher than Michael Jordan's ceiling. That was the highest. That was like in space.
That was high.
That was the best moment of my life. He dunked on LeBron.
Wait, he should have got a technical for that.
Hell yeah.
But
it's okay. You can't do him like that.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Andrew?
Yeah. Who's your pick?
My player to watch?
Yeah, it could be on any team.
Oh, any team.
Or like your pick for was it most improved?
Just like player who make the biggest jump.
Oh yeah.
Biggest jump? I don't know about biggest jump. I think a player to watch is Trae Young. I think
that's a good pick.
I think Atlanta is still not gonna be good, but I think Trae Young, once he got it going last year, I think he was just really good.
Yeah,
And there's nothing that's like really changed. I think within his game, like
Mhm.
since coming out of college, he's just gotten a lot better. But I think like he'll be more comfortable this year. He still has like full reign to the whole like to the offense. So I think Trae Young still really good player to watch. I don't know. Most improved players I think is always hard because usually like
yeah.
a first to second like a Siakam kind of player that
It
like,
comes out of nowhere.
yeah,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
like has like a very reduced role that suddenly has a good role.
It's really hard to predict for sure.
So I don't know.
I was mostly just saying like players I think will be better, or that I'm excited to see play because I think they'll make a decent jump.
Yeah. I think a lot of rookies are. It's gonna be exciting. Like players like I'm excited for Lonzo. Like
Oh, that's a good.
Yeah.
that whole Pelicans team as a whole. I'm very excited
Yeah.
to see.
I want to see Markelle Fultz.
Oh, that's true. That's
I
true.
want to see his free throw.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
I don't know if he's gonna come back, but
Caron Butler. There's an
Oh, yeah,
article,
yeah.
Like he said something like Caron Butler knows his agent, and he says he's healthy now.
Yeah, he says Fultz is gonna like. He said some really dumb phrase. He's like gonna tear up the league or something.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Or like teams are gonna need to take notice of him.
Yeah.
Like some like automatically generated 2K headline.
yeah.
But it'll be interesting. He was great in college. Like
he
was actually one of the best talents coming
Yeah.
out of college in a
People
while.
called him James Harden.
Yeah, exactly. He was amazing in college, and then suddenly he's I don't know what happened to him, but
it was the jumper.
something
Yeah,
happened to
it
his
was,
arm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and yeah, we'll see if he can make a comeback. Oh, are we doing a question time though?
Yeah. That's,
Oh, are we
that's
doing
just a
that?
question.
How long has this been running?
Oh, it's been 56 minutes.
Okay, let's keep going then.
Yeah, let's just keep going.
Okay, so now it's time for our weekly or however I don't know how often we're gonna do this, but segment where we take questions from reddit.com/r/NBA discussion, or we might take like viewer questions in the future, but for now we'll just grab questions from Reddit.
I call this segment Super Reddit.
Okay, we'll call it Super Reddit for now. Our question for today is how good will the Nets be with Kevin Durant when he comes back from his injury? I think it's a pretty interesting topic. Cause he's like, when he's healthy, he's like the most talented player in the NBA, arguably. Like
Yeah.
number one, number 2 player in the NBA. Like you could swap him with LeBron James when he was healthy, but like he's one of the best players, and you put him on a team like the Nets with Kyrie, that could be a huge misfit or an amazing championship caliber team like we saw with the Cavaliers.
Yeah, I think they'll dominate the East.
Really?
Yeah, I think they're gonna destroy everyone.
They have some nice pieces around those 2 players too.
Yeah.
I think it depends a lot on chemistry. I think how Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant work together matters, but I think they will work out because like they're good friends. Also, like Kyrie doesn't seem to have the best rep with young players, so that might affect it. But I think even despite all of that, just from a talent perspective, they just have like too much talent on one team. So I think I'd say top 3 in the
Yeah.
East.
This next season will be interesting to see. Like, can Kyrie lead a team and not make it self implode?
Yeah, I think the chemistry thing is
Yeah,
only matters in terms of bringing it over the top.
exactly.
Like I think like the players they have are good enough to be in the top of the East.
They have good enough chemistry with Kyrie minus KD. I think you stick Kevin Durant in there. Like, let's say they're like a top 6-7 team this year, and they're like competitive in the playoffs because like Kyrie plays well. You stick KD in next year, if he's like even like 70-80% of the player he was, that's like a contender already in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
There is still a chance that the team just implodes, but I think Kyrie will be good this season. I think he enjoys being the alpha dog.
And he wanted to go to the Nets. I
Yeah.
think that's
Yeah.
a different thing.
He's like an undeniably talented player.
That's his like hometown team, right?
Yeah, I think like I said earlier, if Kevin Durant comes back, I think even 80% of like what he was this past season, they're right up there. If not the contender, like probably top 2, top 3. Their team around them is really, really deep too. Like they have Dinwiddie, they have LeVert. I think Jared Allen is gonna be better than DeAndre Jordan,
For sure.
and they still have DeAndre Jordan. They have Harris, and they got Torian Prince, which I think is pretty underrated.
He's good.
Trade for them. I think they're gonna be. I mean, I think we're all on the same page. I think they're
Yeah.
gonna be
Yeah.
incredible.
I mean, actually, there's a chance that they're like a top team in the East this season. Like they were 6th seed last year
Oh yeah,
with Russell,
yeah.
and now they're putting in Kyrie. If that's
true.
like even
That's
like half a good as fit, Kyrie is undeniably more talented than Russell.
Who did the Nets lose? They lost Rondé Hollis Jefferson and Jared Dudley.
Yeah.
That's like not losing much.
Yeah, and then they bring in Kyrie for Russell.
So
That's an upgrade.
Yeah.
If it fits well, it's an upgrade. They could be like 4th seed in the East this season. We don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, I think a big thing for them is that their 3-point shooting last year was really good. Like
Joe
I think
Harris,
they
baby.
yeah I think they played
Yeah, Joe Harris.
4 out offense usually with
Mhm.
Jared Allen being the only one inside. I think you'd have like Levert, Russell, Harris, Dudley out there usually. So they lost a lot of their 3-point shooters because Alan Crabb also got traded, and Alan Crabb is not the most consistent, but he's
Cal
still
guy.
pretty-
Cal.
Yeah.
still a pretty good shooter. But I still think I think they could definitely be top 5 in the East this season.
Yeah,
for
like
sure.
you're thinking about the top teams. It's like Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Boston, Indiana.
Yeah.
Who else is there? Like Toronto is still pretty good, I guess.
Orlando's,
but, like,
Yeah.
Like they're all in the mix. Like it's after Milwaukee and Philadelphia, it's like kind of a toss up. Like,
Yeah.
Like I still think the Celtics and Pacers are better than the Nets.
Oh yeah.
But like you never know what's gonna happen. People were saying the Celtics were gonna be 1st seed for sure last year.
Yeah. What do you think about this, Ming?
I'm just reading that the Brooklyn signed a player called Jalen Hands with the number 56 pick. I was like,
Oh, what's
okay.
wrong with
Wait,
that?
that's the guy who went to UCLA
Yeah.
with LiAngelo.
Yeah.
I think he has like the smallest hands.
like
that
draft
can't-
combine history.
Yeah, I read something
Is,
about
is
that.
that a coincidence or
That's
is
actually
that,
amazing.
I was reading something.
That's so ironic. I love it.
Like, what do you mean smallest hands? Like
The
Let
draft-
me-
in
let me
NBA history?
in like NBA draft combine history, probably.
Oh yeah, in the draft combine.
Wow, wait, really?
I love talking about like the worst draft combine measurements ever, like highest body fat,
Wait,
like lowest vertical.
wait, who had the highest body fat?
I don't remember. I'm gonna look it
I
up
gotta
right
look
now.
this up.
Wait, you probably don't know these players.
Highest body fat percentage
Oh no.
ever in NBA combine?
Who could it be?
I'm really curious now. I know there was like some random players who had like random like really high. Like, I know Cousins was pretty high.
But he's not like that big.
I mean
I wonder-
he's pretty big.
It was like Big Baby Davis.
I don't even know.
Big Baby.
Yeah, there's some pretty funny ones though, like Eddie Curry.
Eddie Curry. Jared Sullinger, maybe.
Yeah, Jared Sullinger was a thick boy.
Big coming out of college.
Yeah, if you look at this graph,
Thick boy.
this is hand length and width and
Oh my gosh! Wait, it's actually at the very bottom.
yeah, it's
of this graph.
8-inch hand length and width.
Oh my.
Wow.
Wait,
That's
can he palm a ball?
No,
Probably
definitely
not.
Definitely not.
Oh.
That's like, I mean, my hand's pretty small, but
Wow.
Yeah.
that's a small hand.
I'm reading that this guy in this year's draft combine named Oshia Brissett had a body fat percentage of 2.9%. And
What the
apparently,
hell?
apparently, if you're below 5%, then it's like a health warning.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
seems pretty
Yeah.
unhealthy.
Even 5% is dangerously low.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He's gonna get crushed.
But his picture looks pretty buff.
Okay, maybe he's just like insanely lean.
Oh my gosh.
He's the leanest man in NBA history.
What the? I hope Jalen Hands proves everyone wrong.
Yeah, with the small
This
hands.
one. It dominates
Oh,
on
man.
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Wait, didn't Kwame Brown also have small hands?
Yeah, he had
Oh,
Kwame
I
that
remember
held him
front of
back a
him.
lot.
I don't know if that held him back. I
don't
think he was
know
just.
if
I think he was just kind of bad.
Yeah, it was not great.
He was like he dominated high school, and I was like, oh, Kwame Brown, like 39 points per game in high school. He's insane.
Dude, you already know Kobe probably made fun of him every day.
Oh, yeah, no,
Kobe
Kobe
made fun of Smush Parker the most.
Yeah.
Dude, that's,
Poor guys, dude.
Yeah.
dude, they just get bullied.
Actually toxic. Kobe is actually toxic.
Oh, shit.
It's not okay.
Like I don't think he would have done that if like social media was as big.
Yeah, hell no.
Yeah.
People would be shitting on him.
Yeah.
That's true.
But everyone loves Kobe.
Alright, so that'll be it for our Comma basketball podcast for this time.
Yeah,
We haven't decided when we're gonna come back, but I think yeah, we'll probably be back in a couple weeks.
Yeah, maybe
For
a
sure.
week or two. But yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Drop us some questions.
Oh yeah. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments.
Yeah.
Go Spurs, go.
No.
Oh man.
All right.
All right.
See ya.
See ya.